All right, thank you. So let's see what we got here. All right, here we go. All right, so I want to appreciate it very much that everybody has showed up here for me. Garrett, I appreciate it. My wife, Terry, showing up here with me and some other people in the crowd. So what I want to do today is hopefully educate you about artificial intelligence. There's a lot, it's a big buzzword that's taking place out there, and how can it help your business and how can it help other businesses that are out there? More importantly, how can it help you get ahead of a competitor? That's really what it's about. So, we want to talk about the practical benefits of AI and how you can implement it to streamline the work that you do, how you can implement it to actually help you save money, save task time, and actually boost money in the business. So once upon a time, I want to tell you a story. So there was this little princess called Snow White, and she was surrounded by 7 dwarfs. And the crazy part is, you may say to yourself, why am I doing anything about AI when it comes to Snow White? Well, the truth is, I want to tell you a story, just not about Snow White. There's actually 2 very successful businesses at one point in time. And I want to make sure that we can position you in a place so that your business doesn't fail like these other ones have. So there was a business called Kodak. Depending on your age, Kodak is still around, but they were the first business that came up with doing a digital camera. When they came up with using the digital camera, they didn't think it would be something that would take off. Well, that's when our phones came into play. And they were too much focused on their film part of the industry that they didn't advance in time. They ended up losing because of that. So it was a 121-year-old company, and they actually ended up having to file for bankruptcy. So they're still around, but they're selling their film paper, and that's going away slowly but surely. The next one is, if you have ever been on a Friday or a Saturday night when you were younger, you wanted to get to the shelf first before your friend took the movie off of the shelf. And that's when it came to Blockbuster. Now, I believe it was in 2012 that Blockbuster had the ability to purchase Netflix. And they said to themselves, that makes no sense that anybody is going to buy a mail order movie, whether it's a DVD or not. Well, the truth is, everybody switched to that subscription model. People ended up switching to the fact that they no longer needed a DVD, much less a VHS. So they're another company that ended up filing for bankruptcy and being dissolved, is where it is. So what I'm trying to say is, too many people are looking at AI in their business right now as though it's a situation that's too far ahead. The truth is, you can't get associated with it fast enough because how it's ever changing. And I'll go through and show this as we go through and talk. So what is artificial intelligence? It's basically what are called large language learning models that will actually speak with the computers or machines designed to think and act like humans. They help solve problems to make tasks easier. It's like giving a computer the ability to learn and understand what you do, but actually at a faster rate. That's what's important about it, is it works harder and faster than we do. So for example, AI is behind things like voice assistants like Siri. So on your phone, if you say, hey Siri, you're using AI. If you ever watch Netflix, on Netflix, when you're done with a film or a documentary, it gives you a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And you have the ability of deciding, what I want to do is I like that movie, so they're going to feed you more films like that. We don't even understand it, but that's what AI is doing in the background. And even self-driving cars, whether you like electrical cars or not, I'm going to show you kind of a unique thing about self-driving cars. So it can work with words, pictures, numbers, sounds, save time, improve accuracy, or create new possibilities. I was just speaking with a friend of mine that has a concrete business, and he actually had these renderings that were given to him, and he said, man, these are great. What Cat 5 system do you use? And he said, we didn't. We used AI to create them. So he was shocked with a big company in Las Vegas that was able to be used. So I want to introduce you to my first introduction to AI, and it actually is from the Jetsons. So not sure if you're familiar with the TV show The Jetsons. It actually was started back in 1962. It started during the weekday. It didn't last, so they pushed it into syndications on the weekends on Saturdays. The Jetsons lived in what's called Orbit City and in Sky Pad Apartments. Now, this is vivid color that you're seeing here. It wasn't quite as good back then, but the AI is, you're seeing that these are apartments up in the sky. You have a flying car, but the true AI is inside the car. George is the dad. Jane is the mom. Judy went to Orbit High School. Elroy went to Little Dipper Elementary School, and Astra was their dog. But what you see in the back of that video is you see the true AI, Rosie the robot. She was model XB500. Now the difference is, they were showing us back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's still on today, what was happening for what we're kind of seeing as far as a future pacing component. Well, the truth is, AI is future pacing and future facing. People were afraid to say, is that really possible in the future? And the truth is, yes, it is possible in the future. And AI is bringing that to us faster and faster and faster. And that's where you have to think of, do I want to ignore it or do I want to bring it to the table? I had a conversation with a plumber the other day and he said, I don't want to deal with AI at all. He goes, I have a bookkeeper. They do AI in that. And I said, that's fine. But he goes, it'll never replace me. And I said, that's very true. Hands-on, it will never replace you. It will not crawl under a house in the crawl space. It won't be able to sweat a pipe. But it will be able to do is if you can't answer your phone on time, they'll go to the next person. If you can't do quotes as fast as another person, they may move on. So I'm just trying to get people to understand the importance of making sure you are moving forward with AI instead of waiting to catch up from one of your competitors. So a little bit about who I am. So I am that person, as you can see on your viewing left. That's my beautiful wife, Terry, in the middle, and that's my son, Reese. I'm a former sports chiropractor who owned a practice with my wife in a city called Rhinelander, Wisconsin. If you've ever heard of what's called the Hodag, we are the only Hodag mascot that's on the planet. So you can check that out, but it's a great thing if you look online and search for what's called the Hodag. And then I applied my diagnostic skills and problems in clinical thinking when I left practice, when I started building a consulting business for healthcare practitioners, and then I pushed that over into local businesses, and then I also did it into the real estate side of the world as well. So over a decade of experience working with small businesses and healthcare clinics in lead generation, SEO, reputation management, and Google Maps rankings. I've spoken on stage for numerous chiropractic universities because we want to actually help those individuals do better in their practice so they can attract more patients to their practice. And that's what we try and do from a local business. We want to help you bring in more customers, and we utilize AI to help with that. So now we build these AI-powered solutions to help small to medium-sized businesses streamline operations, cut costs, and grow effectively. So on the side, my wife and I enjoy heading to the national parks in this area. It's a beautiful part of the country with our little dog Scarlet, and I'll show you a picture of Scarlet here in a second too. And we also love cheering our son Reese on as he plays college lacrosse for the University of Montana, and he's looking to become a future wildlife biologist. Now, I am also the owner and editor of the CDA Local Buzz. If you're not familiar with it, today is issue 223. So 23 days ago, we celebrated our 200th issue. It goes out every single day, 6 in the morning, over 2,500 subscribers, over 3,500 people following us on our Facebook page, and that's only in 6 months. So we're really starting to grow in the area, and we're community driven. We are your place to be in the know. We want people to be able to see the events that are taking place in the area. We want people to be able to see the businesses that are in the area. So we do spotlights in businesses, and we actually want to do a reflection of what's happening in the community. So if you haven't, we'll use a little AI right now, and you can take out your phone, take a picture, and you can actually scan the QR code. It'll bring you right to our subscription page. So it's a simple thing. It'll come into you'll get the newest issue, which tomorrow will be 224, in your inbox. And it'll be a great way for you to see businesses, events, and the happenings here in the Coeur d'Alene area. So there's our puppy Scarlet. She's wondering, am I going to make it home safe from this talk? Hopefully I am. So, but the other thing in there is I want you to understand we're here to transform your business today so you can dominate your market tomorrow. And I leave my phone number up there. I leave my email up there because I want you to know if you have questions about AI at any point in time, phone call, text, email away. It's important that this is something that's moving forward. I'm working very hard on trying to learn it. I need you to work hard, and if you struggle, please feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to see if I can make you laugh with a little AI humor. So I said, I'm presenting to some small businesses. Can you give me some humor for the North Idaho region? And it said, I asked AI to help market my small business in Northern Idaho. And what it gave me back is I geo-targeted 3 moose, a huckleberry bush, and a guy named Gary with no internet. So it really didn't work too well at all, unfortunately. Another question I said, I asked ChatGPT how to grow my business in North Idaho, and it said, move somewhere else where there's more people. And I thought to myself, that's not quite true. If you look at on a Saturday at Super One, there's tons of people there, especially in the summertime. But you got to put up a booth. This is just to show you, I literally said, I'm having a conversation with small business owners. Can you give me some jokes to do? And it printed out some jokes for me. Now I want to talk about the common AI models that are out there. All of these are what are called large language models that use natural language processing, NLP, to generate human-like responses. So they can engage in conversations, answer questions, and even generate various types of written content like articles, essays, code, and images. So I'm kind of ask if you've been using AI. Have you used any of these? So there's Gemini, and Gemini is a Google product. There is DeepSeek, which I don't like to use because it's a China product, but it's an option that's out there. There's Claude, and that's from a company called Anthropic. There is Grok, which is a company that was started by X, and there is OpenAI, which most people know as ChatGPT. And from those, people are familiar with them. They all have their unique aspects and experiences of what you do. I like Claude to get more personal, and ChatGPT I use often, Grok for kind of processing things. So they're all really important for what people are trying to do. It just depends on what you're doing. So my question to you as a small business owner is, are you using any of them, a combination of them? Because if you're not, your competitor, if you have one, is going to be using it in the community. So you need to stay ahead of the curve. And that is where, again, I'd love to be able to help you. So now there are some fears that people have about artificial intelligence. A lot of people are saying, well, it's going to end the world. I still think that there are people that worry about that, and that is a possibility, but I want to kind of work through that. Almost all small businesses are using software tools that are enabled by AI. If you have an iPhone, you ask it a question, it tells you an answer. If you have Alexa at your office, you may ask a question. If you're typing something out, Gemini may pull up if you use a Google product. So it's out there. Now, small businesses are looking to catch up on AI, but they face obstacles. And this was an article that was published in 2024. Data shows nearly half of small businesses aren't sure how to start in implementing AI tools. And it's happening quicker and quicker. Like that was almost a year ago. The advancement of AI has been so fast. Now, this one says AI could wipe out humanity. That was in 2023. I think it's more of a rag journal that scares people. But there's truth to it. We're worried about what's really going to happen. So we have to be very, very careful in how we approach this. So I want to be that person that's that in between. If you're not sure how to implement it, I'll be there to help you. This is December 5th of 2000. The internet may be just a passing fad as millions give up on it. What's interesting about this is that's the year 2000. If you're old enough like me, you've heard of what was called Y2K. Well, we lived in Appleton, Wisconsin at that time. We sold our car. The people, I said, what's the purpose of buying the car? We're buying it here because we want to get out of here for the winter when the internet blows up and there's a problem come January 1. Well, that didn't happen. We actually celebrated in Las Vegas at that point in time. So what I'm trying to say here is there's fear to everything, but the internet never went away, and it's not. We may not like everything it's done. We may not like how it's advanced, but it does help us. And AI isn't going away, and it's actually doubling and tripling in the speed in which it's affecting us. So some of you may feel this way about your AI and the fear, cost concerns. You're worrying that implementing AI into your business is going to be too expensive for potentially a limited budget. What about if you have technical complexities? The fear is that AI systems are too complicated to understand, implement, and maintain without specialized expertise. And I'm going to deflect that fear right now. If I can implement AI, you can implement AI. I might be one step ahead of you, but I can help you do that. And then integration challenges, concerns about how AI will work with your existing systems and processes in your business. And that's a very big fear. If you have something, is when I add AI to it, is it going to break what I have? Workforce resistance, worry that employees will resist AI adoption due to fear of being replaced. And I think that is probably the biggest fear as a business owner with employees. You want to save money, but you want to get rid of an employee. Because if all a reception does is answer a phone, I'm going to show you how that receptionist can almost be replaced nowadays, depending on what you're doing. So it's a fear, but we can work through that. And then a return on investment, the uncertainty that's there, the doubt about whether AI investments will really deliver meaningful business results. So this too shall pass. You'll have fears, but I want to show you how we can get past those fears. Because again, if you don't get past them and a competitor has them, we could be in trouble moving forward. So again, I want to help you transform your business today to help you dominate your market tomorrow. That's my contact information. You're welcome to take out your phone and take a picture of it. But when you have a question, I want to be the answer. We've all sat at seminars before, and as soon as the speaker's done, they hustle off and you're not there to approach them. If you have a question when you're implementing AI, please do let me know. That's my beautiful wife, Terry, right there as well. So the hope, I want to do the reverse on this. So I want you to think, is there anything that you see beneficial in artificial intelligence? If we're not sure how to cook something, we can ask Siri, we can ask Alexa, we can ask, hey Google, those questions, and it can tell us. That's something that's good, but this is an extremely interesting article that was written March 21 of 2025. This gentleman named Joseph Coates, he had a disease called Poems disease. And on the bottom of here, it says a little over a year ago, he was told you need to make a decision. And that decision is, where do you want to die at home or in the hospital? He had a girlfriend at the time, and she said, I didn't want my boyfriend to die. So she actually started reaching out to people online saying, do you know any doctors that could help my boyfriend? And she found one doctor, and what he did is he actually took the medications that were out there and said, are there any medications we can combine with these signs and symptoms and these signs and symptoms to help this person? And lo and behold, they ended up coming up with a concoction of medications that stopped the progression, and he started actually moving back to where he's at. He's not on death's bed anymore. He didn't have to decide where he wanted to die. So that, I think, is a tremendous hope of what happens in the future. I have one of my friends that does radiology. They're using AI to read films nowadays because they can do it faster and save money from expenses of radiologists. Trump announced the private sector is going to put $500 billion of an investment into the AI infrastructure. That's a huge investment here in the United States. And it's important that you understand that if the US is looking for that as an adventure, as an AI infrastructure, there are other countries and other businesses that are doing the same. The same is with Apple. They're looking to spend $500 billion this year alone, over the next 4 years, and they're looking real close to us in Washington or Oregon. So my question to you is, if this nation and the biggest for-profit company is putting $1 trillion into it, do you think you should consider investing? Because again, I don't want you to be afraid of what's out there. I want you to understand you can use this to your benefit. So again, we'll kind of redirect that. The cost concerns. Many AI solutions now have affordable SaaS pricing models with monthly subscriptions to scale businesses to size. So you don't have to have a very large cost to doing it. Technical complexity. Modern AI tools are increasingly using user-friendly for ways in which they can get them to work together and design for non-technical users. This thing called integration challenges. There's a couple of tools out there called Make or N8N or Zapier, and they will take an AI product, they will connect it to themselves and then find a way in which they can learn it, which is a product or a system or a service in your business. So they allow them to communicate. So it makes the integration much less fearful moving forward. This is interesting, workforce resistance. Companies that implement AI often report higher employee satisfaction when these repetitive tasks are eliminated. As I say, if you have an employee that all they're doing is data entry, that can be replaced. If you just have somebody that answers phones, that can be replaced. I'll show you how. I'm not saying to do it, but those options are there. And then the uncertainty of your return on investment. Case studies across the industries are showing concrete metrics that these are time and cost savings. And again, it's only going to get better from here. So if you use ChatGPT, you can ask it to produce an image for you. And if you do that, that image is going to get better in the next month, in the next 6 months, in the next year, and progress. And that's just using it for an image. There's so many more uses for this. So now we're going to get into some of the fun of this talk. It's my horse and pony show, if you wish. So it says they're looking a bit pale. Everything okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Just a little hoarse. So I'm going to show 3 things to you here. One, our strategy is what we call our grow bots. The second one is what we call our invisible employee. And the third is our review collector, or what we call our review booster. So grow bots. So these are not these little robots like Rosie that was, or Ruby, whatever, Rosie, Ruby, I forget which one it was, that's on there. These are little bots that we can put on our websites, or they're AI structures that we can use to help. So I'm going to pick out 4 ways in which this can help. Lead generation and sales. Now, some of us use Facebook, some of us use Google to have ads to actually drive business to us, because you can either go out and shake a hand to make a new business, you can have a referral, or you can bring leads that come into you. So if you have, when you are doing Facebook ads, for instance, you have a lot of people that will respond to those, but we need to qualify those leads and more so pre-qualify them. So you can have an inbound calling operator that can ask questions, that acts as a as an operator for you in the office, and they can ask questions and communicate. And I'll show you one of those in a minute. They can also do it from a chat perspective. So if they're asking a question, if it's a plumber and you want to set up an appointment, they can do that at a certain time. Say, is it more easier for you in the mornings or afternoons? Is this an emergency, or can we come out in the next couple of days? And it can ask those questions. Once those questions are done, it actually ships those questions off to you in a text message that says, you just got a lead. That lead has these problems. We're setting you up for an appointment on this point in time. So again, it will book appointments for you depending on the degree of your AI software that you bring in. Some can book appointments right into your schedule, which is amazing. Customer support. So how many times in your business do you potentially answer the same question over and over and over again? Oftentimes it's too much. So why can't you put a bot on your website that answers the questions for you, like pre-qualification? What about putting together a video program that answers those questions so people can see you doing it, and you can use AI to do that as well? And then reducing response time. It's really important because if you are running a lead generation campaign, for instance, and somebody goes to call your office and you're busy, and all of a sudden it goes to your voice machine, you got to listen to the hangups that are there. What's the number of hangups to the people that leave a message? So if you have the ability to reduce that response time, that really helps the business. Then marketing. If you have a lead that comes in, for instance, you should be reaching out to that lead 27 times. It would be great if every lead that you had, you could go and shake their hand, speak to them, and they said, okay, great, I love it, I want to do business with you. We have to be very careful in how we do that. But there should be repetition in which is done with that. Then collecting customer feedback. This really talks about reviews and reputation. I'll talk to you about that in a minute, but it's important that nobody wants to get anything under a 5.0 for a star rating, but it's important if we can use a device or an AI bot that helps us collect customer feedback. So internal operations, employee onboarding. Why not have a whole video series that's done there so you don't have to walk that employee through every single time? You can do the recording once and it's done for you. And then standard operating procedures. It's easy for you to train somebody one time, but if they don't do it right and you have to go back and educate them, why not have a standard operating procedure? And you can use AI technology. You might know 3 things in your business that you want to do, but you need 27 steps. You can talk back and forth with it to create an SOP for your business, whether it's from the first inbound phone call or sending out your invoice or whatever it may be that you're doing. There's multiple options. Now I'm going to show you 2 kind of different bots that we have here. This first one we call our Grow Video Bot. Let's hope technology works. All right. So on the screen, you'll see Dr. Chris Masetta. You see a video that's there, an opt-in page that allows you to potentially ask some questions, all the social media stuff on the top. You've got a phone number on the top, but what grabs your attention? That little thing on maybe the right-hand corner that shakes, wobbles, and wiggles. Okay. So what if we go down there and click on this?
Hello, I'm Dr. Chris Masetta with Richfield Chiropractic Wellness Center. I just want to start off by thanking you for taking the time to visit our website. I'm not sure if you found us maybe through a Google search.
Now, my question to you, does that build trust with you? You have the ability of learning a little bit about the business. So if you put that onto your business, if you had a bot on there that could ask questions or tell them to look around our site, this is what we specialize in. These are the types of jobs that we do. That's great. Then they can watch that and say, you know what, I've got a question I want to ask. They can put name, phone number, email, as well as message, and then send it in. You automatically get a message sent to your phone on a notification that, hey, you just had a website visitor that asked a question, and you can talk back to them in that regard. So this is just a great way to build trust in what you're doing. Another one is what we call our high IQ bots. So let me make sure I don't. There we go. So in Coeur d'Alene, actually Coeur d'Alene by Post Falls, it's called Maha Coffee Roasters. Mason has it, the coffee place. If you like coffee, it's wonderful. He's got multi-flavors in there. But you see on the bottom right, this is not his site. This is just an example that I put on here. But you can see this little bot on the bottom right-hand side that pops up and you can ask some questions. So if I can talk and enter this at the same time, what are your hours? So we train the bot so it understands what your hours are. So it tells you right there what it is. So, what's another common question? People say, do you have food? And they'll say, yes, we do. We have these things in there. And if they change on a weekly basis, we can change out what's in there for food. So it's actually helping the consumer do that. Do you have different flavors? Do you have different flavors? And of course, we train these bots, so when a new question comes in that we don't have an answer for, we put it back in there. So there's all different kinds of flavors that are out there they can get that it's like, I've never had vanilla cold foam. I'm going to try this place out. It's just an avenue to help us generate more. Now, here's another unique thing that says, want help choosing your roast. So I did this on behalf of Mason. You can see me here. On this page, you can actually talk to your consumer, tell them what to do, gives them the description on the next steps they go into it. So you can click here to get started. And it says, enter here. Do you like bright and fruity, well-balanced, chocolatey, smooth and rich, deep chocolatey, mellow and subtle? You can say, I like espresso and drip, and then caffeine preference regular. I'll click next. It takes a while for it to go through, but all of a sudden what this does is it goes through his 4 to 5 different roasts, and it says, from what these selections you just told me, those are the flavors that you're interested in. And then we can link it up to going to his website where he has a store on there where you can buy his roasts. So it's a very unique thing in which you can do from that perspective. So let me go back here to full screen. And now here's where I want to talk about the invisible employee. Now this is where it can kind of get scary depending on how your business is run and who you have for employees. So if you're a one-man show of a business, I know there's some people that may be that in the audience here. We were a 2-man show, man and woman. We had our practice. It was us. And if we were both seeing patients, we couldn't get to the phone. So it went to the voicemail, you hope. Or what if you're doing a job and you're busy with a customer, you have another one standing here waiting and the phone rings. Do you want to say, excuse me, and then answer the phone? Or I just called, I don't want to throw out a business. I called a business in the area. They picked up the phone and said, can you please hold? Didn't give me the opportunity to say, no, I can't. They just said, put me on hold, and I heard the music. I stayed because I needed that service. But what would happen if you had an invisible employee? I'm going to play this for you. I want you to think that this is somebody that's 24/7 for your business. Any inbound call, you can turn it on and off. So if you're driving home and you can answer the phone, great. If you've got a receptionist that's there, they can answer it. But if you are doing lead generation and they can call in inbound and answer the phone, it's just a few minutes. I'll let it play for a little bit so you can hear how this goes.
Hello, this is Ashley with Panhandle Plumbing. How can I help you today?
Hi, Ashley. I'm looking to see if I can have a plumber come out to my house. I've got I think a broken water heater.
Oh no, that sounds frustrating. Let's get started on helping you out.
Now, do you hear how we built in empathy towards that? She's like, oh, that's a bummer. That sounds more like, if you didn't know that was AI, it would make you think differently.
Can I have your first name, please?
You bet. It's Peter.
Thanks, Peter. And what's your last name?
Bench.
Great, Peter Bench. Just to make sure I've got it right, your name is Peterbench, correct?
Yes.
So I'll
Your
skip
home?
ahead a little bit.
Yes.
Great. Are you calling for an emergency service need or questions about our plumbing services?
Yes, it's emergency again. I believe that my water heater is a broken pipe.
Oh no, Peter, that sounds awful. Where are your issues located? Is it in the kitchen, bathroom, main floor, upstairs, or downstairs?
The water heater is downstairs in the basement.
Got it. Have you turned off the water to the water heater yet?
Yes, I have.
So we're trying to get ahead of the questions that are potentially coming in, and we can train this. When a call comes in, we educate the system on how to handle it. So even further on down here, if I play this.
Yes.
All right, Peter. I've spoken with Stephanie, our emergency services coordinator. She'll call you back shortly to book your appointment. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I was wondering, do you have any promos available right now?
Yes, we do. This month we're offering $100 off water heater installations. Anything else you need help with?
No, that's going to be great since I think this is a water heater issue. No, that would be all, Ashley.
Thank you, Peter. We'll have one of our team members out there as soon as possible. Have a wonderful day.
Now that handles the phone quite well. It's amazing how that could be. So if you are in your job and you can't grab the phone because you're dealing with something else and you have an inbound call, you have to the way I tell people is you need to monitor what's happening with the inbound calls. How, if you in a day, if you get 10 and 10 of those go to voicemail, of those 10, how many click and hang up? Or of those 10, how many leave a voice message? And if more of them are hanging up, you need to consider some type of an invisible employee if you wish. So again, that's my son down there on the bottom right, Reese. We look like each other a little bit. This is a few weeks ago. We were over in Montana in Missoula fishing. Unfortunately, that day he caught 2. I only caught 1, so he beat me to the punch on that. But again, this is again where we have to look at what AI can do for us. So my question is, what's the difference between AI and myself? We can ask AI as many questions as we want and it'll give us those answers. What we need to do is we need to work together to implement those into the business. And that's what's there. So if you have questions, please, by all means, email, text, or call me. All right, now I want to talk about Review Booster. So I want to kind of put on another story face here for a second. Let's just say that I'm going to be in a wedding. I'm a best man in a wedding in a week and a half. And I'm out hiking Tubbs Hill over the weekend and I trip and fall and I chip my tooth. What's the first thing, if I don't know a dentist in this area, that I would do? What would you think the first thing I would do? Okay, you'd type into Google and you would say potentially, find an emergency dentist near me. So if we had an emergency dentist in the audience and we typed in emergency dentist near me and your practice didn't show up, that's a problem, right? Emergency services, emergency plumber, emergency, whatever it is, that's a huge keyword that a business should be found for. But I want you to think about, if you are found, there's 3 positions in the maps. They're the most critical real estate on there. Most people think that their website is important. You don't have to have a website for your business. It helps. But if you don't, the most important thing is a business phone number and a Google business profile. That's where people can leave reviews. That's what feeds Google to tell you where you're located. So we put together what's called the Review Booster, and we use the reviews to help local businesses turn happy customers into powerful testimonials, boosting trust, SEO, and conversions with minimal effort. So why do you need more Google reviews? They train the algorithm what people think of you. So when a review is left, it talks about customer service, it talks about the service that you gave, it talks about you as the person, it talks about your staff. So what Google does when you search, find a dentist near me, they want to give the searcher the best information that's out there. And hopefully you're in front of that person. They improve your Google Maps and local pack rankings. If you're off the maps, one of the best things you can do is start getting more Google reviews, and that'll give you more energy to be able to pull up. There's a lot of things in the algorithm itself, but that's one of them that helps tremendously. And then they add user-generated keywords to your profile. So for a chiropractic office, it says, do you do non-surgical spinal decompression? And if that's left in the review that says, I went there, I had a herniated disc, they did NSSD or non-surgical spinal decompression, it helped me. If you're a plumber, yeah, he did. They came in on emergency call, they came and fixed our water heater, and they didn't leave a mess when they left. Those are all things that Google now uses in its algorithm to point out to other people how important it is for your business to show. And then they influence conversion with social proof. Think of it this way. If we just moved to this area and we had a 3-year-old and we didn't know anybody and we wanted to look for a daycare, so you find daycare center near me. Daycare in position 1 has 50 reviews, daycare in position 2 has 25, and daycare in position 3 has 3. Which one are you not going to call? You're not going to call the one with 3, more than likely. You might call the one with 25, but you're looking at the one with 50. So that's why it's so important for you to get more reviews for your business. So I'm going to show you this Review Booster demo. So we're just putting on here, this is Bob Jones Plumbing. So it's going to be your business, whatever it is. If you don't use a service to get it, this is one of our bots that we can help you do that with. So it says, what service did we provide? Water heater replacement. Continue. What is your name? I'm going to say Tom. And I'm tom@mail.com. Continue. We would rate them as a 5-star overall. And then, great service, fast, prompt, and clean, if I can spell correctly. Prompt and clean and very professional. So they're kind of writing your review for you right here, if you think about it. Boy, if I could type and talk. So then what happens is, who is your technician? We're going to say Peter. Again, if I could spell and type. So then it does a little bit of work on the background. So what this allows is, if you don't have a software that helps you get reviews, what it says right here is, Dear Tom, thank you for your feedback. We're thrilled to hear that you had a great experience with your water heater replacement. Peter will be happy to know that they made a positive impact. Like that they or he made a positive impact. We'd love for you to share it. So it tells them you can click this. So there's a way in which you can click right here to copy it. So it says copy to clipboard, or you can copy this. And this would be the link to your business. So they would click that link, it would open up your Google Business Profile, they can copy and paste it right there. So it actually helped them write the review for them. We're trying to take the work and the effort away from the consumer. And that works it's a great service that we can do. Let me go here again, full screen. All right, so now what I want to do, because you've been very patient with me and I appreciate that you've taken the time out of your afternoon and evening, it's Christmas time. I want to give you a couple of gifts. So as we do this, when we talk about reviews, what if there was a way for you to see in real time what your business's current 5-star rating is on Google, how many reviews you have on Google, and your overall Google business profile score? So what you can do, if you want, you can take out and scan this. It'll bring you to our site. I'm going to show you it in a second, but this is a way in which you can see what you're currently experiencing online or what other people are experiencing with you. So what I'm going to do is show this. So when you scan that, this is what pulls up. It's a way in which you can get a free audit of your Google business profile. And I'll show you. I'm going to say Pat's Tavern, Rhinelander, Wisconsin, right here. Now, not that I've ever been to Pat's Tavern in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, my hometown, to have a couple beers or tacos on Taco Tuesday, because they're the best tacos in Rhinelander. But what this is going to do is it's going to give us a report. It's telling us what it's doing. It's analyzing your business. It's analyzing Pat's business. And the importance of this is now we can kind of get a target. If you've got a competitor of yours that's out there that's doing better, this is going to show you what you need to do more to get it. So it's going to take a little time. Hopefully this will be done, quite shortly here. But I'll come down here. The importance of your Google profile. Again, here it talks about the importances of what you can do for your Google business profile for your business. And it also talks about the importance of what you can have for the importance of having reviews. So here we go. So Pat's Tavern has a 4.6 star rating. That's good. Anything above a 4.0 is great. Anything above a 4.5 is what you want. 228 reviews, that's great. An overall score of 75. Show some pictures that are on there, some photo tips that can be here, because these are images that you as the business owner should be sharing. And then there's a review snapshot of one person that left a review. Excellent tacos. See, as we said, tacos are fantastic at Pat's. But if you want a full report, all we ask is for your email address. We can have a conversation with you to see. It's just a way in which you can get many more details that are there. But the most important thing about this is this shows you where you're competing against your competitors and what you can do. So again, if you have a 5-star rating, 1 review, and an overall score of 65, you got to have, there's some things that we have to answer for you. All right, so that's one little gift that we want to do for you. The other one is, we talked about the CDA Business Spotlight. So your business, we want to help spotlight your business to our community. Again, for the CDA Local Buzz, we have 2,500 subscribers, goes out every single day. We haven't missed one for 223 days. And so we want to actually help you spotlight. So if you want, you are more than welcome to scan that code. You can apply, you can find out what our spotlights are. We either have a spotlight that gets you to stand out in front of them or just a shout out. So there's different variations we can do, because we want our people that are our subscribers to learn about who the people are in our community. Now I'm going to ask a favor, but a crazy question here at the start. Again, the goal of this talk is to educate you. Does anybody have any idea what I'm doing, that little picture there on the bottom right? Close. I'm barefooting. So I'm barefoot skiing. So I'm looking for somebody that has a boat that can pull me, because I'd love to go barefoot skiing again. That's just a little bit more insight into who I am personally. But I also want to let you know that this is important to me. That's why my phone number is there. You can call or text me, my email. But the favor is, if this did anything for you, if you thought as though you had a benefit from this, I'd like you to pull out your phone at some point in time. You have my number there. Just do a short little quick testimonial video. The same thing you should be doing for your customers. Written testimonials are gold online, but video testimonials are double gold. They're platinum, whatever you wish. It's much more better because they tell the story about your business versus you telling the story. So that's the favor I ask of you. Now, one other thing would be, if you're interested, you can scan this code too. We're putting together what's called a community group, and that's where we're working with the local businesses in this area that we're trying to get people to get online, and we can communicate with one another, in which we can help businesses. So if you have a question about your business, you can put it in online. You can scan that code. It's a way in which you can learn from that. So I am just about to wrap up, but I want to show you one really unique way in which AI can help you in your business.
Wow, what an amazing session we just had.
I hope you enjoyed exploring the world of AI tools as much as I enjoyed sharing them with you. I want to sincerely thank each of you for taking time out of your busy schedules to join me today. We covered a lot today, didn't we? From streamlining those tedious daily tasks to finding clever ways AI can help attract new customers without breaking the bank. My goal was to show you that AI isn't just some fancy tech term. It's a practical toolkit that can make a real difference in your business operations. Now, that was just the beginning of your AI journey. If you're thinking, that sounds great, but how do I actually implement these tools in my business? I'm here to help with that next step too. Feel free to email me or call or text me at 208-315-8008. I'll hang around here after to answer any more questions you might have as well. I'd be delighted to schedule a one-on-one with you where we can discuss your unique business needs and create a customized AI implementation plan that works just for you and your business. And don't forget, we've got our second session coming up on Thursday, May 29th, where we'll dive even deeper into practical AI applications. You won't want to miss it. Thanks again for being such a fantastic audience. I can't wait to see how you will transform your business with these powerful AI tools we discussed today. See you soon. And that's where I'd open up for questions. You can cut that, dear. So